So, what if an AI could actually remember everything you've ever told it? I don't mean just for the last 5 minutes, but forever. We're about to dive into a brand new technology that gives AI a human like memory. And honestly, it could change everything about how we use these tools.
You've totally been there, right? You're deep in a conversation with an AI assistant, you give it some really important piece of information, and then just a few messages later, poof, it's gone. The AI has absolutely no idea what you were just talking about. It's one of the most common and, let's face it, super annoying things about AI today.
Well, this exact frustration actually has a name. It's called the goldfish memory problem, and it's not a small thing. Today's AI has a shockingly short attention span, and it's one of the biggest roadblocks preventing us from creating AI partners that are genuinely intelligent and actually helpful. Okay, so let's get into exactly why this happens. Because this isn't just some random glitch, it's a really fundamental limitation in how these models are designed. And it all comes down to a concept called the context window. The easiest way to think about the context window is to imagine it's a tiny notepad. The AI can only see the last few things you've said, basically whatever fits on that single page. And as soon as that notepad gets full, the oldest information just gets erased to make room for the new stuff. It makes having long, meaningful conversations practically impossible. Now, you might be thinking, developers have been trying to solve this for years, right? So why do our AIs still feel so forgetful? Well, let's take a look at the most common approach they've been using and see exactly where it falls short. So, the main method so far has been something called retrieval augmented generation, or just RAG. The best way to think about RAG is that it's like giving an AI a static library of books. It's awesome for looking up facts that don't change, right? But here's the huge problem. That library never gets updated. It can't learn from your new conversations. It can't remember that a project's deadline moved. It's built for a static world, but we live in a dynamic one. And this is where we make the huge leap from a static library to a dynamic learning brain. Meet Zep, a project that is a completely new way of thinking about how an AI remembers. And the ambition here is massive. The researchers behind Zep don't see this as just some minor upgrade. They see this dynamic memory as a, quote, crucial building block for the entire next generation of AI agents, the ones that can actually help us solve complex problems. So what exactly is Zep? Well, at its heart, it's a dedicated memory layer built just for AI. The engine running it all is called Graffiti, and it builds something called a temporally aware knowledge graph. Now, yeah, that's a mouthful, but the key idea is this. Zep doesn't just store random facts. It understands the web of connections between them, and, this is the critical part, it understands how those connections change over time. Okay, so how does it actually build this dynamic brain? To get that, we need to look inside. And what's so fascinating is that its structure is actually modeled directly on our very own human memory. This is where the whole idea gets really, really elegant. In human psychology, we basically have two main types of long-term memory. There's episodic memory, which is for specific events, what happened. And then there's semantic memory for general knowledge. What does it all mean? Zep mirrors this perfectly. It stores the raw conversation, what happened, in an episode subgraph, and then it pulls out the key facts and relationships, what it all means, into a semantic subgraph. The whole process happens in 3 really clear steps. First, Zep just ingests the raw conversation, the episodes, without losing a single bit of data. Second, it analyzes that conversation to pull out the key entities and facts. Things like Sarah works for Acme Corp or Project Phoenix is due in July. And finally, it groups all these related facts into communities or high-level themes. This is what gives it a true big picture understanding of what's going on. But here, this is the real magic, temporal awareness. Just look at this timeline. So in January, you tell the AI your favorite team is the Eagles. Fine. But in June, you mention, I'm a 49ers fan now. A normal AI would just get confused or maybe overwrite the old data, but Zep is way smarter. It marks the Eagles fact as no longer valid after June, and it creates a new, currently valid 49ers fact. It understands not just what is true, but when it was true. It remembers the change itself. So, the theory is fantastic. It sounds amazing on paper, but does it actually work? Well, the researchers put Zep to the test against all the existing systems, using a really challenging benchmark designed to push AI long-term memory to its limits. And the results are just staggering.
On this benchmark, which tests an AI's memory across conversations that are thousands and thousands of words long, Zep gave answers that were up to 18.5% more accurate than the standard way of doing things. And the key thing here is that it's not just remembering more data, it's understanding it better. And believe it or not, it gets even better. See, feeding all that historical conversation into an AI is really slow and super expensive. But because Zep only retrieves the most relevant memories, it slashes the response time, the latency, by a whopping 90%. So it's not just smarter, it's dramatically faster. And when you dig into where Zep improves the most, it's in the hardest, most human-like tasks. I mean, look at that massive 184% jump in understanding your preferences, or huge gains in reasoning across multiple sessions and handling questions about time. This is exactly where the older systems completely fall apart, and it's where Zep just shines. So what does all of this actually mean for us, for you and me? This isn't just some academic paper. This technology is paving the way for a whole new generation of AI tools that are going to feel a lot less like clunky software and a lot more like truly capable partners.
The impact here is just huge. I mean, think about a personal assistant that actually remembers your goals from last week and the week before. Or imagine business tools that can connect a customer's live chat with their entire support history instantly. Fundamentally, this leads to a more nuanced AI that understands our world isn't static, and it does all this while making these incredibly powerful systems cheaper and faster for everyone to use. And this brings us to a final and pretty crucial thought. For years, AI has been this powerful tool, but one with no memory of us. As that starts to change, as our AIs begin to build a shared history with us, we have to ask a really profound question. If an AI can remember our past, how is that relationship going to shape our future?